Well, here are the results of a very interesting study. Despite all the hype about rising divorce rates, U.S. Census figures show they've actually been going down for the past 20 years. And modern marriages appear to be more stable. But fewer people are actually getting married these days. Erica Katz is a parenting expert and contributor to Parents Magazine. Dr. Suzanne Steinbaum, attending cardiologist and director of Women's Heart Health at Lenox Hill Hospital. And joining us from our sister network, Fox Business Network's Lauren Simonetti, to discuss this very interesting study. All right, let me start with the doctor first, because I know that you have been divorced, right?
Yes.
And so this study, I think, is very surprising to a lot of people. It's a myth that half of us end up getting divorced. Why do you think that it's now saying that 2/3 of all marriages could actually remain stable?
Well, I think what we're saying are two things. People are now getting married older. So when they're older, they're a little bit more settled. They know who they are. They're financially settled. And so they're not jumping in at a younger age when there's really such upheaval. And I think the other thing is that women are in a different place. As the director of Women's Heart Health at Lenox Hill, I see women, and women are in the workforce the same way that men were during the decades when the divorce rate were high.
So they feel financially more stable to be able to leave a marriage if they're unhappy?
They don't need a man, so they don't have to get married. They can be as independent as they want for as long as they want.
But so Lauren, why is it that, that 2/3 of these marriages, though, may survive? Because that would almost work against what we're just talking about now. If women have the ability to leave, and by the way, 2/3 of all divorces are initiated by women.
Right.
So if women have the ability to leave, why are we actually having better marriages?
They have the ability to leave because they can support themselves, right? 40% of women are the main breadwinner in the family. We're both working. We're not sharing that paycheck. The ones that are working seem to be the marriages that happen, later in life. You've dated, you get it, you know what you like, don't like, etc. And also among higher educated individuals.
True.
So these are the people that each have a job and a career. They kind of just get it a little bit more, and they're better able to come together and share responsibilities. It's changing the structure of marriage, believe it or not.
Erica, is this good news for all of the kids out there? All the research shows, or a lot of it does at least, that marriages and kids are better when they're in a stable relationship.
I think marriages and kids are better when they're in a stable relationship. And I also think you're seeing a lot of a child-centered parenting. So I think parents are staying together sometimes for the children, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. But I think that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And when you see your friends get divorced and you see what they go through financially, the upheaval in their life, you see how their kids suffer, sometimes you realize, hey, maybe I'm better off here. Maybe internet dating isn't so appealing. Raising my kids alone isn't so appealing. And I think that is actually also contributing to this.
Yeah, it's interesting. The grass is always greener on the other side, right? Maybe not.
And a really alarming stat is the Pew Research number. 1/4 of young people, millennials, will never, ever marry in their entire life.
Interesting. So that also factors into this number, because people are choosing actually not to get married at all.
But I think they're not, I'm sorry, I think they're actually not getting married because they're worried that they will get divorced.
Interesting.
And if their parents got divorced, maybe they came from a broken home and they don't want that to be them, so that could be a contributing factor.
I have to say this. People who are in a happy marriage are the healthiest people. People who are in an unhappy relationship have a 3-fold increased risk of heart disease.
Interesting.
Women who are miserable are better off if they're single than in an unhappy relationship, and tend to be obese, diabetic, hypertensive, high cholesterol, and develop heart disease.
That's very interesting, and you would know that being a cardiologist.
Yes.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for a great
Thanks,
discussion. Thanks.